So final thoughts from the panel. Tom?
Okay, my final thought is manufacturing. The absence of a manufacturing strategy of picking winners is actually creating losers. Manufacturing is the one vehicle that has a multiplier effect in jobs. So Facebook going public will not create more jobs. Opening 100 baristas at Starbucks will create 100 baristas. Manufacturing jobs will create 4 or 5 for every one that's created. I think it's a great lesson for all of us to look at Germany, which has half our healthcare cost and twice our share of manufacturing, as a role model that if you want a stronger middle class, of which community college presidents are dealing with a very weak, poor middle class every day, if you want a better middle class, we have to be proactive in manufacturing. And I think you all have to be thinking about that because it is clearly the realism that we see. I'd also say what the ambassador said, he downplayed the rapid growth in employment in Germany and attributed a lot of it to job sharing. I would say that the data actually would sustain that the multiplier effect of having twice as much manufacturing gets more people to work quicker. One manufacturing job inside the auto industry creates 4 jobs in the countryside. And I think the truth is in the telling that Germany's on the right side of healthcare and the right side of manufacturing, and we've got to think about that.
Excellent. Joe?
So you had 2, so I'm going to have 2 as well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to actually piggyback off the one you just had. So first would be this desire, this hope that we can make manufacturing a profession that is honorable and that people want to go into, and that we build the momentum to solve the other problems as a result of that. And frankly, it's one of my takeaways today. I think there are things we could learn from the history of the German system about how that got positioned in a way that would allow us to make a step in that direction. So I agree with your point, and thrilled that we're having a conversation about manufacturing. I guess maybe I start by saying I'm proud to be in manufacturing, right? The second point is, and we kind of touched on it in many ways, there are actually a number of solutions out there that work. And either we don't know about them, or we're having trouble coalescing them, or we're having trouble bringing them further. And so if I had a wish, it was, and maybe this is the role of government in this, is to help us take the ones that work and drive them broader. Because it is impossible for any one of us at the college level or at the industry level to touch enough places to change the broad demographics and the broad trends. So somehow leveraging into what's out there that works would be a wish.
Yeah, thank you, Emily. Keying off of one of Dr. Esser's last points, I was amused to hear Joe a few minutes ago say, "Oh my God, there's too many pathways. Help us sort it out." And I was interested to listen to Dr. Esser's description of how the German model is held together, sort of what the rationalizing mechanisms are in that. One of his last points was that that particular group serves, if I recall correctly, as the parliament for vocational education within Germany. I think we would be well served by creating a parliament for pathways that rationalizes the thinking around pathways. And if you think about how a parliament works, right, they all get in a room and beat each other up, and they arrive at a wonderful decision.
Well, that's a big
sort of.
Sorry.
Generally speaking. But we don't have a mechanism, just to Joe's point, and I've seen this elsewhere as well, that helps employers and educators visualize a coherent pathway for professional development and educational attainment by industry. And I think if we could get that blueprint, we would be in great shape. Thank you.
I think that's fabulous, and my prerogative of the chair too, our number one, we have solved every educational problem we have in America, somewhere in America, and if we simply could bring one or more of those to scale, we will have made a very, very significant impact. And two, after 8 years of frustrated administration of an $18 billion a year federal investment in workforce development and a workforce system in this country that doesn't work, I would like to see that money devoted to the educational pathways that will create the applied STEM technical workforce from our high schools to higher ed.